To our featured band tonight.
Let's do so.
And it is a group called the Barber Green, and they were a local band from Brownsville during 1966 to 1970. The band members included David Lee Harding on lead vocals, Donald Harding on bass guitar and vocals, Douglas Culver on lead guitar and vocals, Michael McNeil on rhythm guitar, harmonica, and vocals, and Donald Herb on drums. All the band members were students at Central Lynn High School, except for Doug Culver, who attended Harrisburg Union High. They called Brownsville home and rehearsed at the old Brownsville Theater. The band got its unusual name, from a company that manufactured paving machines. One of the band members came across one of the paving machines one day, saw the name Barber Green, and decided that would be a good name for the band. The guys played all over Oregon from Medford to Salem, and from the Oregon coast, the Oregon-Idaho border. In 1968, they performed live during the premiere of the showing of the Beatles' Yellow Submarine movie in Eugene.
Man, weren't those great times?
Oh, that had to be a fantastic time for all those guys, being right there from the Brownsville area.
Man, isn't that something? So anyway, the Barber Green from Brownsville specialized in playing rock and pop. They could also do rhythm and blues, some soulful stuff. They could do some country. Even had a few of their own tunes, and they recorded 6 songs at Graves Recording Service in Eugene. Released a single, 45 RPM record, on the F Empire label. 2 original songs are Gliding Ride, which had the song Life on the flip side. Now, that record was on the top 10 list of a number of radio stations. Went to number 1 on a couple of West Coast teenager AM, back when AM radio ruled the airwaves, late 60s.
That was the MP3 player of the days, yes.
In San Francisco and also in Seattle. High school kids from Brownsville, number 1 in San Francisco and Seattle. On teenage AM radio station. Man, it was a golden time for these kids. And anyway, the other 4 unreleased songs are Proud Mary, done by Creedence, of course, Destruction, Thinking About the Good Times, and Toe Jam. That song.
Toe Jam. Wow.
Well,
I know.
Now
okay.
we're gonna play Toe Jam as well. I gotta tell you, folks, it's 14 minutes long.
Okay.
All right. Now this is late 60s, and there weren't too many huge long songs. So these guys kind of pioneers. There weren't too many even nationally known bands that would dare record a 14-minute song.
I was going to say that was a little unheard of, even in rock and roll in those days, wasn't
and they got a DeVita, maybe some of the Jimi Hendrix stuff, maybe some of the real avant-garde stuff from the late 60s was longer.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't hear them on AM stations. It was alternative stations or FM stations, and, rock was changing, and these kids were changing with it.
Okay.
Anyway, so now, their band manager, Jack Richardson's connection with country star Dottie West.
Wow.
Had the group lined up for a USO tour in Vietnam. But the Tet Offensive, huge, of 1968 prompted the cancellation of that tour. So here's what we're going to hear. We're going to hear Gliding Ride.
Okay.
One of the original songs from the band. 45 RPM record. We're going to hear Thinking About the Good Times. An unreleased song, nearly 3 minutes long. And Toe Jam. That song, 14 minutes and 30 seconds. So here, folks, from the late 60s from Brownsville, Oregon. The Barber Green, 92.7, 92.1.
gliding ride, oh yeah, a gliding ride. We can see our city, yeah, our pretty city. We can see our city from a perch, it's so pretty. We can see the lights all through the night. We'll be in a daze until the break of day. Okay. Then tomorrow will come. We'll go downtown. We'll be wearing a frown. As you go downtown. The people will stare as if they don't care. Then you say, well, it's this. Oh yeah, okay. Well, do you wanna take a ride? Do you wanna take a ride? A gliding ride, oh yeah, a gliding ride. We can see our city, yeah, our pretty city. We can see our city from a perch, it's so pretty. I'm feeling bad, I'm looking so sad, thinking about the good times I once had. One of these days, it won't be long, you'll call my name and I'll be gone. I'm going up north, I can't carry you, there ain't nothing here, baby, I can't do. I'm going to New York City, the city of love, where rock and roll is out and blues blues. Find your ticket, baby, for the train out of town. I won't have to worry, you won't be around. The New York City, and I got to choose to sing rock and roll or progressive blues. I'm going to San Francisco, the city of love, where rock and roll is out and midnight. Buy me a ticket, baby, the train out of town. I won't have to worry, you won't be around. Sit down. Listen to what I gotta say. I'm gonna make you mine every day. Yeah, 'cause you know what I mean when I say love is a beautiful thing. Love is a I messed around much too long with you, but now I see you saw the light. You saw the light with me. Your tricks were mirrors. Your mind was destructive by your fears and yours. Baby, I want to take you home. See your mother, see your father, see what they gotta say about our tears. Listen to what I gotta say. Listen, listen to what I'm gonna do. Listen, listen. When I say you, I love you. Hey, listen, listen. baby, 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 you're gone, you're gone. I hear every day. I hear every night. You're home, it's your melody. You're gone, turn on, turn on, turn on, yeah, turn on, turn on. Sunrise over the hill now. I'm waiting to blow my mind. Don't you know where you're going? I said, don't you want to see me again? You can just go to hell. But I don't want to. I'm waiting for all the good people to come above. You sang to me now. It was beautiful, more than I could taste. Kiss me again. Love me, stay. Hey, love me. Afternoon is when you come to me. Kiss me. We're just consciously far. Pillow all night long. See my pillow turn gray and gone, yeah. Don't tell me all about the family problems, baby. I don't want to hear about the family problems, baby. say when I crawl to the better side of the earth. I got enough family problems of my own. Don't tell me, baby, that you've been there handbag. I got a handbag of my own. I got a purse. I got a wallet. I got money. For your kiss. For your kiss. For your mind. For your kiss. Your loving, baby. Turn me on. Turn me on. I love you more than you love me. I could tell by the way you see me. That's all. Yeah, that's all. Oh, come on, baby, love me. So, experience my mind. Experience your touch. Experience your much too great for me. Yeah. Oh, chill. Check on me, check on me, check. Yes! Come on, baby, cheat on me, baby, 'cause I don't love you anymore. And I don't care about your family problems. I just don't care. We'll go see a judge and get married. Yeah.
Well, you know,
Wow.
maybe some Hendrix
know,
influence.
Yeah, it could have been done. The song was called Toe Jam. And I'm going to tell you that there weren't too many AM stations, or maybe none, that would have played that in 1968.
14
69.
plus minutes long.
14 minutes long. And I could hear, the influence of maybe Cream, maybe Hendrix, some of the alternative, rock bands. These are high school kids from Brownsville. They were doing this.
Way ahead of their time.
So
way
anyway,
ahead of their time.
We have presented
The Barber Green from Brownsville.
a wonderful group of kids, and kids that was 50 years ago,
66 to 1970.
and maybe more than 50 years ago. So we hope
Central
you
Lynn
enjoyed
High
it.
School and Harrisburg Union High School kids.
Sometimes Chuck looks up, some of
The first two songs,
some of the people in the bands, and maybe some of them sometime
Gliding Ride,
are listening.
and Thinking About the Good Times, fantastic tunes.
I'm going to say
That
Thinking
one-
About the Good Times would have been my favorite.
I got to agree with you.
The second song we played.
Mhm.
Yeah, I thought it was cool. I thought it was really good, and it was. We talked about that off mic.
Mhm.
Whereas on the country side of things, folks, if you're rock and roll and you never listen to the country side of things, you wouldn't know. But there's a young fellow, and he's a family guy. One of our listeners on the line in Nashville would be his mom. and he's breaking into country music. And the fellow's named Jonathan Hutcherson. We think a lot of him, and we play him from time to time. And that's the way radio used to be, where you would have a DJ in Des Moines, Iowa, and there could be a regional hit in Des Moines that nobody in Chicago would have heard of in 1968, 69. Not any longer. It's all corporate, right?
Right.
It's all focus groups and everything else. But when these kids were going to Central Inn and Harrisburg, it was a magical time in rock and roll where you could, if you got a DJ to like your song, you could do magic.
Well, it's kind of like a Wolfman. If
in
the
El Paso,
Wolfman liked you, you had a hit. If he gave you the thumbs down, you were done.
Right. He was a super regional jock. But, you know, and again, there were jocks in Florida, in New York, and Chicago, you know, in El Paso, Texas. And it was really cool. And so these kids were high school groups, number one in Seattle and San Francisco, for crying out in the night.
Right. So,
and then that 14-minute song that is, again, way ahead of its time.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyway, a great group from Brownsville, the Barber Green, 66 to 1970.